Catherine and her ex-husband, Austin McBroom, started the Ace Family YouTube channel in 2016. They were essentially the first family vloggers to ever do it, and people were so obsessed with them. To this day, they still have 18 million subscribers, okay? So for years, everyone watched Catherine and Austin's relationship play out online. We watched them get engaged, have kids, move into new homes, and they documented every aspect of their lives on YouTube. Now, throughout their relationship, there was a lot of controversy. There was financial turmoil, and there were tons and tons of cheating allegations. But to the public, they always put up a united front until they suddenly stopped posting and revealed that they were getting a divorce. For the past about 2 years, they have been basically not really addressing anything. And there are so many unanswered questions. How often was Austin actually cheating? Was Catherine aware the entire time? What was going on with their finances? And what is the truth behind the drug allegations? We've got a lot to talk about, obviously. You and your ex-husband, Austin McBroom, started the Ace family, which quickly became quite literally the biggest family YouTube channel ever to exist. And then suddenly you guys went dark. You have your ex-husband, Austin, coming forward, and he's already commentating on, this is a lie, this isn't truthful, this is exaggerated. How did you feel when you saw him kind of publicly coming out and trying to put down essentially this book?
Yeah, I feel like that's already an indicator of why I never expressed myself, you know, through all those allegations of cheating and infidelity and all those things. It's like, I was so afraid to speak up. I was so afraid to say, I'm an idiot. Like, I just didn't see it, you know, or I was so afraid to say, you know, I'm trying to hold the very little piece that we have in our family. I'm trying to keep that together. I'm trying to shelter the very little piece that we have, you know, and, for me, it was like, you know, I'm embarrassed. I don't know what's true or not. There's so many things that aren't true. It's really hard to like differentiate what is true, what isn't, until I really found out.
Can you tell me how you guys met? Like, how did that all go down?
Yeah. I moved to Los Angeles. I had this fuel to move to Los Angeles. I was super excited, and I bought a one-way ticket. My friend invited me to an all-white attire party. And I walked in and I saw Austin from across the room. Austin McBroom from across the room. And I looked at him and I thought, I don't know why, but I feel like I know him. So interesting. And she introduced us and we shook hands, and that was it. And then I took an Uber home, and I didn't talk to him. So about a month later, he had messaged me on, I think like Twitter or something. He was like, hey, I'd like to send you something. And I didn't respond. So a month went by. And then he messaged me again, and he was like, hey, I'd like to take you to dinner. And I almost didn't go. I was like, I don't know why, but something's telling me to go. But I'm just like, I don't know. And so, I'll never forget that morning, he was like, he goes, do you like sushi? And I said, no. He's like, okay, well, me neither, but I got us a reservation at Nobu Malibu. And I said, okay, that's nice. Like, in my head, I'd never been there before, so I'll go. So we go, and we're sitting across from each other, you know, we're by the ocean. And we're talking. He was asking me a lot of questions about me. I thought that was really nice. You know, he's a young college student. It was like he was going into senior year of college, playing D1 basketball. And he's talking, and all of a sudden, like, I just don't hear anything. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is a person that I'm going to have children with. And that is a person that I'm going to marry. And I knew it in that moment. Like, nothing could tell me otherwise.
What was it about him?
It was just a feeling. It was just this feeling. It's like this inner knowing. And
over the years, there were so many different allegations of Austin cheating on you. And it was a pretty constant conversation online for a couple of years. At first, how much attention were you giving to these rumors? And did you even believe them when it first started?
When it first started, my heart sank. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, I remember like sitting with myself, oh my gosh, like, is this going to happen? you know? And then it was like, oh, well, I see him. I'm with him every day. Like we're co-parenting, we're married, we're business partners. I mean, when is he going to have time? But it's really interesting. I was telling my mom the other day, I remember when I was 16 years old and I walked into a room where the TV was on and there was, it was that talk show, Tyra Banks. And there was a lady who said, if a man has enough time to go into the bathroom, he has enough time to cheat. And it just stuck with me. And I thought, does he have enough time to cheat on me? You know what I mean? And so that was kind of like the beginning. It's like, I don't know what's true or not. And, you know, and I'd even have moments where we'd be laying in bed, you know, just falling asleep. And I'd get a text from a random number. Your husband is out at a party with me, da, da, da. And I'm thinking like, he's right over here. So there's moments I didn't know what to believe. There's some things that are true. There's some things that are distorted. There's some things that are not true. So it was really hard to tell.
And in those moments, did you, because I know you're kind of saying your communication wasn't great. When the allegation started, did you bring it up to him at all? Or was that another thing that you guys kind of were like?
Yeah, no. I brought it up.
And what was his response in the beginning?
Oh, you know, that comes with the territory and let's not respond because we're just going to add fuel to the fire and it's not true. I'm like, okay, you know,
and you trusted him?
I did. Yeah, I really trusted him.
When you look back at the very beginning, like the very beginning allegations, do you believe even then he was cheating?
No.
Can you take me to the moment where you found out about he was cheating? And then we'll dial it back to all the others. But the first big moment, you're like, oh shit, he's cheating. Where were you? What happened?
So there was like quite a few moments.
Okay.
But there was a couple of moments where I was like, I'm heartbroken.
Okay.
Like,
the first one. Let's go to the first.
So, you know, I don't remember exactly the first moment because I feel like there's just so many. But there was this one moment. I had just had my daughter, my second daughter. She was about 6 months old or something. And he was like, hey, I have to go to Miami for a meeting. And I go, please. And I'm the type of partner where I love for my partner to feel free. Like, I trust you. Go. You want to go on a trip? You want to go on a boys trip? Whatever you want to do, go. Like, that's just my personality. Now I look back, I'm thinking like I should change some things up a little bit and care a little bit more.
Right.
But at the time I just had a baby. I was tired. I was filming every day. I had another baby. I'm taking care, changing diapers, breastfeeding. I breastfed all my kids 5 years straight. Wow. So, super exhausted, super tired, you know? And so he said, I want to go to Miami. And I said, you go on your trip. And I remember calling my mom saying, I would never let my husband leave when my baby's just a couple months old. Like, I don't know, you're different. And I'm thinking, oh, well, I don't know. I was like, I think he deserves it. He's been working so hard. He edits, people don't realize he edited every single video on our channel. We didn't have an editor. So I thought, he deserves to go out. Like, it's okay. He wants to go on a business trip, whatever. I remember that business trip, like it was yesterday, that business trip. He called me quite a few times where I felt like, you're calling me a little too much. Like, I was just like, I don't know, like, it's okay, go have fun, you know? And he pocket dialed me accidentally. And I heard women in the back. There was a couple women. And I thought, okay, well, I guess my husband's hanging out with women. Yeah. I'm thinking, whatever, hung up the phone, continued my day. A couple of months go by and this blonde male makeup artist makes this video on YouTube talking about my husband and how he was in Miami and there was this group of people and there was all these girls and there was this boat and all these. And to be honest with you, till this day, I never watched the video, but I have gotten that like information from some good friends who watched it for me and were able to like process it for me and help me process it. And I was pregnant in that moment. And I had to listen to that. And nobody knew I was pregnant. I was having my son. And I remember bawling and thinking, is this true? And even if it's not true, why are people saying this? This is like so detailed and like, and I believed, I didn't believe the horrors, but it was like, am I just being stupid right now? Like, am I just really not sitting with this? Or do I vindicate him? Do I vindicate our family? And that's what I did. And I think back at my old self, and I think, poor girl, like, I wish I could hug her today. Like, she was just going through so much. And she, the old version of myself just wanted to protect that little piece we had in the family, you know? And I would see it in his eyes, and I'm thinking, like, I don't know, like, something's not right, but I'm going to have a baby and I have to focus on the baby right now. So I wasn't sure, right? And that was a big moment for me, because there was some things that were being said that it just made a lot of sense. It was all adding up. You know what I mean?
And did you confront him?
Yeah, I did, but not in a way where I was like, it was more like, how do we fix this? Because this is not true. And he's like, yeah, that's not true. That's, you know, whatever, this guy, and he's making things up, and oh my God, he's trying to extort me and this and that. And, you know, some of those things were true, some of them weren't. And I thought, how do we fix it? And I was just lying to myself. Yeah. I knew deep inside something didn't feel right.
Yeah.
But then a couple months later, I was, we were filming this thing called Vlogmas on YouTube. People film every day for the month of December. And we had done it, you know, it was like a common
I
theme
remember.
we would do every winter. And this was in December. And I was, you know, at that point, I was like about 3 months pregnant with my son. Mm-hmm. I didn't know I was having a boy yet. So I just, you know, I was pregnant. I wore baggy shirts and, like, you know, like I'd wear bigger shirts because I didn't want anyone to know yet. I wanted to keep it to myself, especially because there was all this like negativity going around about him. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm just going to keep this to myself. And then there was this moment that changed everything for me. I had a dream. I have a lot of dreams. Yeah. Very symbolic. I'm sure you do too.
Yeah.
I had a dream where I was walking into my bedroom, the bedroom I was sleeping in. We had this massive, long 10-foot bed. I'm walking into the room, and he's sitting in the bed, and there's a woman with this beautiful blonde hair. And I just see the back of her, and she turns around and she's this demon. And I woke up from that nightmare, and I was crying. I was like, oh my God, that was the worst nightmare I've ever had. Like, there was a demon on my bed. And the whole day felt eerie. It was so eerie. It was so weird. And I didn't tell anybody. And I was just like, that's so weird. Couple of hours later, we start filming. And we go to this studio to get my daughter's first haircut. She was a year old. She's getting her first haircut. And he, you know, our assistant, who was Austin's friend from back in the day, was there. It was Austin and myself and our daughter. And when we walked in, you know, there's some fans, and they were like, can we take a picture? And I'm like, yeah, like, let's finish filming, you doing this, and we'll take the photo. So they're all waiting there. And, you know, everyone in the salon knows who we are and stuff. So it was just, you know, a regular moment. Yeah. We're there filming. He's filming our daughter's first haircut. And I'm kind of like, I'm taking photos for myself for my phone, you know, like, oh my gosh, like taking the photo. And then like a movie, my phone dies. It just goes black. And I look at him without a thought, and I go, give me your phone. Let me take a photo. Cause, you know, we're going to miss the moment. She's getting her first haircut. As soon as my hand grabs that phone, mind you, I had never looked in his phone. Ever. Never. I grabbed the phone, and it felt kind of weird because I'm like holding his phone, right? It just felt odd because I knew maybe things he was hiding. I didn't want to look. Yep. As soon as I grabbed the phone, like out of a movie, this long text comes through. If you really love your wife, you wouldn't be da-da-da-da-da. And I like my brain scanned it, but I wasn't able to read it fully. But in that moment, my heart drops. I'm pregnant. There's people watching us. The camera's on. It felt like, it just felt surreal. The assistant notices, looks at him. He grabs the phone from me and instantly deletes the message. And I thought, oh my gosh, it's true.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I was calm, very calm. And we paid and we finished. I wasn't in my body anymore. I wasn't on earth anymore. We walk out of the store or the salon, and I said, Austin, who was that? And he's like, it's nobody, it's nothing. Please tell me who that was. I saw the text. And I kept replaying what I could have done. should I run to the bathroom? Like, should I like take, like, I'm like, what should I have done?
I like tackle him and read it. Like,
no, like I was like, I didn't get to fully read it.
But you saw enough that it said, if you really love me,
was an emotional, I saw enough to know instantly, this is an emotional relationship he's having with somebody. This is a woman that is having a relationship with my husband. And we got in the car and, you know, then my voice got a little, who was that? Oh, like lower your voice, the kids. And I'm like, okay. And I'm calming myself, the kids are in the car. Let's like, I'm going to have grace, right? Stay strong, poised, get home. We get home, blacked out. I was like yelling, screaming, tell me, please, please just tell me who that was. Right. Please just, I feel so stupid. Just tell me I'm having a baby. Please just tell me. And I ran out of the house. I got in my car and I just started driving. And I didn't know where I was driving, just driving. Crying in the ocean, bawling. I couldn't even see where I was driving. And I thought I need to park somewhere. So I went to a park, parked at the park, put my hands on the wheel. And I said, God, if you hear me, please tell me what to do. And in that moment, it's so interesting because I knew that one day I'd have a son and that I would name him Steele. There was like this inner knowing. Mm-hmm. And when I had that conversation with God and I was really just like a point of just, I'm surrendering. Just tell me what to do. And I heard this voice and it was like, you are having your son. There's a reason you named him Steele. You have to stay strong for this whole pregnancy and just don't make any impulsive decisions. Just keep going. Just keep this in the back of your mind. It's gonna live there and you're gonna see everything's gonna make sense, but don't make any big decisions right now. And I went home and I acted like nothing. I didn't talk to him for a couple of days. I think that was the longest we'd ever gone without talking since we met. I think we went like 2-3 days. And then, I texted him and I was like, we need to talk. And we took a drive. We met in the middle of a street and we got in the car and he told me who she was and he showed me. And I was like, okay, so that was the girl you were talking to a couple months back. Now it's all making sense. Like you said, you were talking to a girl that needed help with Snapchat. And I'm thinking like, why is a married man talking to a woman about Snapchat? Like Snapchat wasn't even monetized in the day. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you doing? Like, okay, this is making sense. Okay, this is making sense. Okay. So I thought, okay, well, what do we need to do? Like, how can we move on from this? Like, what do we do? Like, I was like, and I didn't tell him this at the time, but I thought I can forgive him because he's crying out for help. And because at the time I wasn't religious. I still not religious. You know, I believe in Christ, but I'm not bound by like religious structures. But I was very like, you stick to your husband. I was very like traditional in that sense. And I don't know who made me like that, but I was just that way. And I thought, okay, maybe I can forgive him, you know? Mm-hmm. And so as the days went on, you know, then we went to a trip to Hawaii. Someone said we should go there because, you know, that's where the heart chakra of the planet is. And, you know, maybe we can get some healing. And so we went to Hawaii. And then that's when I had posted that I was pregnant. I'm thinking like, I'm getting bigger now. I need to post. And yeah, it's a secret that I was carrying inside of me. And I wanted to like scream out loud that I was going through this, but I couldn't.
Listening to you say this though, Catherine, like so many times now, you've said the minute you find out, you're like, how can we fix this? How can we fix this? And I think it does connect to what you've been saying of like, you're on this hamster wheel, you're out of your body, all of this happened to your life and you're just going and you can't even like stop to be like, are you okay? Like, it's almost like it sounds like you weren't even like feeling like you were just like, how do we fix this? It's like almost like your business. You're like, how do we fix this and move forward? How do I say bye my man and move forward? I'm wondering though, when you're saying all this, like, is he apologetic in the car when he's speaking, or is he keeping it more like brushing it under the rug? It's not that big of a deal.
I'm going to be honest with you. It never felt apologetic ever. Yeah. And you know what's interesting is, even through our divorce, even through everything, I never heard him say the words, I cheated, until about a week ago when that first chapter of my book came out. I've never heard him say the words, I cheated. And when I heard the words, I was like, oh my God, finally I heard it. Thank you so much. That was all I was waiting for. Thank you. That's all I needed to hear. You could have just said it to me. You could have just been honest with me and just told me. But it was like I was being gaslighted. Like, yes. It wasn't actually happening. And it was like, and yeah, I think that finally hearing those words was so healing for me, because it's like I wasn't going crazy. Like, it was everywhere. Everyone was saying it.
Why do you think he decided to finally say those words? Just because you were officially calling him out?
That, and because now I understand the whole picture. I get it. I think a common theme for him was, because if you really think about it, what kind of woman sleeps with a married man whose whole identity is based on being a married man and being a family man, you know? So I kept going through those things as well, as like, women are really like that? Like women. And so, what I was thinking was, he must have been telling this woman that I didn't care. And in that video he posted last week, out of everything he said, I mean, everything was false, right? Or distorted or whatever. But the one thing he said that really, really just like, it was like a punch to the gut, was that he said that yes, I cheated and she was okay with it as long as, he said, as long as I said you don't embarrass me. And that is not true. I never, ever, ever said that. I would never say that. And I would never want my kids to think that that is okay to cheat on your husband or your wife. And I will make sure that I raise them and that they know that they never, ever do that, because that is so wrong. And you never cheat on the person you love. And I would never in a million years say that. So that was really hurtful that he said that, because I'm like, are you just accept it? That's People would understand that better.
He's putting the blame back on you. That's him taking no accountability. Think about that. The first time he acknowledges that he cheated, the end of his sentence, he can't just say, I cheated. Yes, I cheated because she told me, just don't make me look dumb. AKA you were allowing him to go and have all these relationships, and you're sitting here being like,
I would never, Alex. I would never do that.
And I think now also understanding like how you write in the book, you kind of talk about like once the first you really got the concrete evidence, then more came out. Like how many more did you find out about?
I know personally of women. Like I don't know them personally, like as I'm friends with them, but I know who they are. And I would never say their names.
Yeah.
Never, 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 never. I would never, I'm not that kind of person, but I know of many.
Many as in like?
I know for sure of 3, like for sure.
Have they ever reached out to you?
No, but they're out there in the world acting like that never happened probably. And I know the truth.
How many do you think there are?
I don't know. I saw some headline things saying he said there was 20 or something. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah.
Because I didn't watch his full video, but I don't know if he did say that, kind of trying to cover himself.
Yeah.
Because I think when he saw the beginning, the first chapter of my book, he thought maybe that I wrote a lot more about him, but I kind of didn't in a sense. Like, to be honest with you, it's a memoir about my life. But I will say that when you write a book, you always put the hardest part of your journey in the beginning of the book, right? To catch the reader, to really draw them in. That's just something that as writers is common. And so he really got it backwards.
I want to ask you, there were some like viral cheating rumors that I want to just like get your opinion on. Tana Mojo recently revealed that she covered for Austin after you found lipstick in Austin's car. What really happened there?
So she covered for him, which I believe that it's probably true. It definitely happened because I remember we had a Lamborghini at the time. I never drove that car. And I got in one day as a passenger, and I noticed there was a lip liner or lip gloss, something like that. And it wasn't mine. And I thought, and I'm like, whose is this? He's like, oh, so-and-so got in my car the other day, and his girlfriend was on the lap, and I drove them down the street to get into their car. And I'm like, I don't believe you. Like, at this point now, I don't believe you.
Right.
He's like, I'm going to call him right now. And so I guess she was there. And, yeah, I think, I think her publicly talking about that is hurtful. Why didn't you call me? Message me. Hey girl, I was there on that phone call. I just want to let you know, that wasn't true.
It was also rumored that Austin would hire nannies so he could sleep with them when you weren't around. Do you know if this is true?
No, we never had a nanny.
Never had a nanny.
Grandma.
Okay. Did you ever get confirmation if the infamous yacht orgy happened?
Yes, I actually did. Yeah.
Wow. And that was when he butt dialed you that weekend?
That was that weekend. Yeah.
How did you get confirmation?
Through a friend who's married to a guy that was physically there.
Wow.
Yeah. Years later, by the way.
Yeah.
When it didn't matter anymore. It just it was like, oh, really? Oh, okay. That's surprised to me.
Right. You're like, shit.
I guess it did happen.
Did Austin really bring his mistress to a charity event you guys threw together at the Staples Center?
Yeah. So there was this girl, the girl that I was talking about earlier, the one with the long text. So that was her.
Since that information came to light, Austin has completely denied it, said he would have never brought a girl there. That never happened. Like, what do you say to that?
To me, it's like, why lie about that? But now I know, like, you can lie about a lot of things that aren't true. So I'm like, okay, well, because the thing is that I knew that writing this book, there would be some kind of like retaliation or some things that are said. Yeah. I knew that, something would come from this, obviously, because, I wrote a book. I didn't know what magnitude that I wasn't aware of, but it's interesting because I saw it and I thought, this is not me, I'm past that. Mm-hmm. Like, I truly feel like it was a test. Truly. It's like, Austin, you could have handled that differently. You could have said, I saw, see, she has a book out, and one of the things he said is, I didn't tell him about the book. Mm-hmm. The thing is when you go through a divorce, you don't really tell someone what you're doing. You know what I mean? And I had been promoting the book for 2 years. I've been talking about it. So he had seen it. I think if I would have mentioned the book to him privately, he may have wanted to try to stop me from doing it. So it was just something I was doing me, but yeah, I think that, he could have handled it differently. He could have said, I just saw that Catherine, my ex-wife, she has a book out, and he could have said something along the lines of, although I don't totally agree with what she said, I guess there's always different sides of the story, and I wish her well. And
I'm not proud of the things I did, but we've both moved on and whatever.
Yeah.
I just feel like the Staples Center moment for him to try to say that wasn't true. It's like, again, Austin trying to reclaim this narrative, because specifically that, I think because there's footage of you and your family, and it was such a core of who you guys were
totally
to the world, it makes him just look like an absolute fucking monster to if you're going to cheat, can't you just go do it in private? Like, you have to put Catherine and your children through this. And so I think it must be him trying to reclaim the narrative a little bit and litigate, well, no, I didn't bring her here, but I brought her. It doesn't fucking matter.
Well, the crazy thing is it did happen. And that's where I found out all the lies. So that moment was a significant moment in my life. So of course I'm going to talk about it if that was life-changing for me, because I was pregnant when all of these things were going on. And I got confirmation from one of his family members saying, I told him not to bring that girl and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm thinking what? You knew too? I'm thinking oh my gosh, I'm just being blindsided over here. I had no idea. Truly, yeah, I've been seeing the rumors and the narratives, but oh my gosh, like, why can't you tell me? Like, why don't you talk to me? Like,
was this before or after the text incident that
was around the same time.
Okay. So that's when it all started to like come out. And then to go to this event and have that woman there. And now he's trying to say no. Okay. Austin recently tried to justify all of his cheating by saying you guys weren't having sex. What was your sex life like at the time?
Sex, intimacy is very, very sacred to me. Like more today than it has ever been. When I found out that there was cheating, I checked out and I said, my body is a temple and I refuse to allow anybody to come near my temple if he cannot be honest and truthful and loyal. And it was like, I'm checked out. And it is true. And I wrote it in the book. I put the same exact, put 4 years. It was 4 years. It was actually more like 5 years if you think about it, because
5 years of what?
Of not being intimate with him. Okay. Because just to be completely transparent and honest, because I do feel like a lot of women and men can relate to this. But I was going through a lot of postpartum, you know, your body changes, you know, you're breastfeeding and you're taking care of multiple children. And so, we had my daughter, and then we had, you know, I was pregnant that whole year, and I was the cheating allegations, all the things. And I thought, you know, I don't know. And then I got pregnant with my son, and I'm thinking like, maybe we can make this work. You know, maybe this is not what it all seems to be. And, you know, we had just moved into our new house, and we're like, you know, maybe we can have the family that we're always meant to have, you know, the family that we're portrayed to the world, you know, maybe we can really be that. And I got pregnant, and then and then I found out he was cheating on me, and that was it. That was a never, ever, like
never again. And did he pursue you at all? Like, did he try?
No. And that's how I knew that there was cheating going on.
Right.
Yeah. And you know, now I know how that's not normal. At the time I thought, you know, we're going through a lot, you know, there's a lot of bad things happening around us. You know, we have children, you know, and we're overworked and we're tired and we're stressed and we're anxious and all these things. And now I think back, I'm like, even when I would we would kiss, or there was a disconnection. And I thought, this isn't my husband. Like,
prior to all the cheating allegations, like, did you have like a healthy intimacy life with him?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's what part of, you know, our love and our bond. It's like, we are so deeply connected, like in all ways. And yeah, I'm a huge part of this problem though. It's like, I take it full accountability on being in a relationship with someone and not also pursuing intimacy, because although I was disgusted and I didn't want like to be intimate, I didn't have these very serious conversations like, hey, maybe we should go see a therapist. Like, maybe we should do couples therapy. Maybe like this is a normal going like another year without being physically intimate. It is such an important part of a marriage and a relationship.
Was it the cheating that really broke down your marriage, or were you guys rocky before you found out and with the allegations?
It was the cheating. There was nothing else. Could handle anything.
I have to ask, Austin said you weren't having sex because you believed you were the Virgin Mary reincarnated. What is your response to that?
It's really hurtful because it's just such a strange thing to say. For years in my spiritual journey, I would, you know, everyone in my circle and everyone knows how deeply connected I am to Christ and to Mother Mary. More than ever today, I feel like I can connect to her always. And I think that's just his way to just throwing jabs, just trying to make me look crazy, you know, try to paint a picture of she's crazy. Yeah, it's kind of sad.
Yeah. During all of this, I think this is something that's very sadly relatable, but you didn't confide in anyone, right? For most of the time. How did you decide not to tell your mom or anyone?
My decision was solely based on the fact that I didn't want that to change people's perception of him, because I thought that we could heal and we can get to a better place. I didn't want to say something and then them like have so much, information. At the end of the day, it's almost like gossip, gossiping. And I truly believe that gossiping is poison. And so I thought, this is my marriage and I'm just gonna keep it to myself, because I need to figure it out within myself. When I decided that I wanted a divorce, that's truly when I told my parents and my family. It's like, I want to get a divorce. And they were very supportive of me.
But was it like eating you alive, holding this on by yourself?
Yes. And for a while it was, but I felt at one point, I'm like, everybody knows, it's like, everybody knows. It was like, it started to become so obvious.
I do think, which I'm interested to hear your opinion on this. Like, I think there was a point where the public was almost shifting to being like so frustrated almost with you, because all of these women are coming forward with like pretty detailed, tangible stories. And you guys are posting like a united front, nothing's going on. How do you think not acknowledging all of it publicly impacted your reputation? Call Her Daddy is brought to you by White Claw. I don't know who needs to hear this, but you're way too hot to be spending the summer sitting inside scrolling on your phone. What are you doing? What are you doing? Stop letting plans die out in the group chat. Grab a White Claw and go make some memories, okay? Whether you're yapping poolside, hitting a barbecue, or just kicking back around a fire, a cold White Claw goes perfectly with your summer plans. That's right, Daddy Gang. It is White Claw summer. 100 calories in 12 glorious ounces, gluten-free, and the taste you know and love. I like to pick up a variety pack so that I can guarantee everyone can get their favorite flavors. I am personally through and through always a black cherry girl, but Matt loves the mango and Lauren's favorite is lime. So there's truly something for everyone. It's time to come out of hibernation and stop leaving everyone on red. We're finding a guy with a boat and we're having a damn drink. My friends and I strictly drank White Claw for an entire girls trip last year. And now I can't even smell sunscreen without being reminded of that trip. It was honestly the best time ever. There is nothing better than warm sun, a tiny bikini, tiny bikini, and an ice cold claw in your hand. That is peak life. Pick up a pack from your favorite local spa and grab life by the claw with your favorite flavor this summer. Please drink responsibly. Hard seltzer with flavors. White Claw Seltzer Works, Chicago, Illinois. How do you think not acknowledging all of it publicly impacted your reputation?
It deeply impacted my reputation. I feel like I was like in a fishbowl and like I couldn't, like, it's like all these eyes pressing in on me and I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, I don't know. Do I protect or do I say my truth and then my whole life changes? You know what I mean? And it's like, I always thought about my kids first. Like, I need to be a mother to them. I need to mother them. Their mother needs to be happy, healthy, laughing, playing. Like, I don't want to like have two separate homes right now. I don't want to have to figure out what I'm going to do for a living now, because we've been doing this for almost 10 years. You know, we've been doing this for so long. And it was just me trying to just like navigate that with myself. Like, I didn't want to make these big impulsive decisions publicly.
And I think that's totally fair. I think like, I get why people would start to be like, hello, like, do you know, like, what are you doing? Like, say something or leave or say I'm staying with him, even though I think
there was moments where I'm like, I'm going to leave tomorrow. Like, I'm going to do this tomorrow and I'm just not going to look back and I'm just going to go and I'm going to find a place and, you know, we won't film and people are going to wonder what happened to us. That like, I had those moments. Yeah, I had those moments. Yeah. But I think what was the hardest part